Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I hope you had a Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to you, by the way. I hope you're having a great weekend. 2019 was a very amazing year in terms of, how the show grew, how I took on added themes. All of that was part of my dreamscape, and so I'm glad 2019 is over, because now I get to move on to bigger and better things. So I'm excited about 2020, and I hope you are as well. So without further delay, let's get on with the show. So the title of today's show is The Game Plan, and the topic is prepping for book release. Well, we all know how hectic life becomes when faced with deadlines. No matter what it is, preparations needed. The same applies to book releases. And I want to share with you ways to make things flow smoother. One way is to ensure you've covered all bases before the announcement hits the airwaves. And if you are savvy, this will have taken place months before the book is even ready for release. It should anyway. Well, this includes introductions, promotions, and mock-ups. Also, if it's not the official book cover, still it allows your followers to glimpse how the finished cover will look. And I've seen more and more of those out on social media because I've done it myself. And it's a good way to keep your readers engaged. Keep your followers engaged, to let them know what you're doing, to always stay in the know. Let them stay in the know of what you're doing, whether you have anything that's ready to be released. If it's some months down the line, still you're getting them prepared for it. You're getting them ready for it by constantly, posting and making them aware that, hey, this is what I've got coming soon. So keep looking for it. So people love, I think they love the idea of expectation, of anticipation, of having something to look forward to, especially if it is something from an author that they admire. They want to know what you're doing. It's the same with any social media, with any person, a personality, whether it's actors or musicians or whatever it is. Whether they have anything new out, whether it's new music or a new movie or whatever, you like touching bases with them. You like keeping tabs on, their life, what they're doing, and it helps you to, like I said, to stay in the know of what they're doing as well. So that is the whole purpose of having book release and using social media as a platform to accomplish this. So when your book has gone through all the paces and it is ready for release, make sure you do it at the right time. Now, what is the right time, you might ask? Well, what I mean by this is you should research the best day and time to do your book release. Now, most traditional publications, they release between the first and second of the month. Now, what I mean by traditional is traditional book publishers. you'll see a host of books that are out there. And I get updates all the time on Amazon whenever a new book is released or something that they think I may be interested in. I also see these things come across my social media page as well. But I'm going to start paying closer attention to new things that are coming out, new book release details that are coming out, to see if they are actually being released on that, that second day of the month. But anyway, like I said, most or between the first and second weeks of the month. Now, and usually on a Tuesday. So if you are an indie publisher or an indie author, make sure your book is among those and part of the competitive market. And I say this because you don't want to do something that's after. If this is the trend of releasing your work on on a Tuesday, and I, for one, I at first I couldn't wrap my head around that. Because I was thinking, well, release it on a Friday. Because if you release it on a Friday, people are more apt to get the book because, they may plan to stay in and read it, on a Friday or Saturday or whatever. But the market is saying do it on a Tuesday. That's the best time to do it. So, we'll just roll with that. We'll just do that. But, if you're self-published, then this means you are in charge of the total operation. So that means that you have to stay abreast of what's going on, what's popular in the market, how things are done. That is your job from start to finish. So you should get ready for that. And the cover is the first thing your readers will see, and it should look professional. Now, I know I don't have to tell you this, but that's important now, because you can save time if you use some of the pre-made covers. And there are a lot of pre-made sites out there where they've already done the work for you. Basically, all you need to do, or you can have them do it, is put in your information, the title of the book, your name, your picture, your bio, all of this stuff, the book blurb, all of that. They can do all of that for you. But of course, it's they will charge you for it, or you can do it yourself. It's not that hard. But anyway, or you can purchase royalty-free photos from places like Shutterstock, Pixabay, Free Images. And you can also get absolutely free photos from Unsplash. Now, the royalty-free photos, and they throw the free in there to sort of throw you off, to make you think you're actually getting these pictures for free, but you're not. You have to pay for them. But you can, but the images, depending on the size, is not that expensive either. Generally, it's maybe like $7 to $9, or you can get a package deal to where if you want to download more than just one image, you can do that. They make it available for you to purchase these images. Now, they are royalty free, meaning that you don't have to worry about someone coming back trying to sue you once you use their photo. So that's one good thing about using Shutterstock and Pixabay and all those other free those sites where you can download images and pay for them. But Unsplash is absolutely free. You don't have to pay for those images. And they have a ton of them out there, and they're quality. Let me tell you, they are quality images that are out there, and they have a slew of them. It covers everything. So don't think that, it's just photos that people have uploaded, of themselves that were taken with a cheap camera or camera phone or whatever. These are truly professional looking photographs or images that have the highest pixels needed for book covers, because they have to be printable. If your book is paperback or hard copy, those images need to be printable, whatever you put on the cover of your book. So it's just a lot that goes into the process. And again, I say, if you're a self-publisher, then this is something that you might want to listen to. But if you are traditionally published, then of course you don't have to worry about any of those things. You may have a little insight as to what goes on the cover, but the most part is, you don't. They have complete control. You have a little bit of artistic control, but when I say little bit, I definitely mean that. But anyway, On the Unsplash, as I said before, those images are free. But what they like for you to do is to acknowledge the photographer. You can say you love the photo, whatever, and share it. And you can also upload some of your own images if they look professional enough, to upload those to Unsplash. So you might want to check it out just for yourself. But anyway, every author is familiar with the term book buzz, or at least you should be. Now remember that this is to ensure that you have got the word out weeks before your book is even completed. And what good is a book release if no one is even aware? So for all you social media pros, you should listen up. Even if you're not great at social networking, it doesn't take a genius to post a few words about what's coming soon. It's so easy. If little kids can make posts, believe me, you can do it too. But anyway, spreading the word drives book releases. It is what drives book releases as well. All the other mentioned details. Anyway, you want to post images of your upcoming book. Engage your audience with short blurbs about the characters. It does not hurt. I have been telling folks most of the time about a year in advance what's coming next, because they want to know, especially if you are a series writer and and if you have a good following, of readers, they always want you to keep them in the loop. And so it's helpful for you to always tell them, this is what's coming next. It doesn't matter if the book has not even been written yet. It may just be an idea, but it's always a good practice to let them know this is what's coming down the pike, so they can get ready for it. Because I like it, from my favorite authors. I have a ton of favorite authors, and I always love to know, what they're doing and what's coming next. And so they help keep me informed by putting those, uploading images of their books, the mock-ups of their books and the blurbs and things like that. So they try to keep you in the process of what's going on, and that's helpful, and it's thoughtful to do that for your readers, and not keep them in the dark about what you're doing. I mean, it may be a secret for everybody else because you don't want them to read your work, but you do want your followers, those that buy your books, you want to always make sure that you keep them in the loop, you keep them advised with what you're doing. Because it can only help you in the long run. But what you can do is choose a favorite quote or scene that will whet the royalty, that will whet the appetites of your readers. And if you're a blogger like me, start a blog tour. It's not hard at all. It's super simple, really. It's not. It may sound difficult, but really it's not. If you blog on a daily basis, then it's just that simple. And basically, you're just blogging about the book. Like I said before, you're choosing quotes and scenes from the book. Just to give them a I guess you could call it a trailer, of what's to come. Because we all love movie trailers. The movie may not be out until, maybe like the next year, whatever. But when we get a glimpse of what is coming, it prepares you, and it keeps that always at the front of your mind to know that, oh, yeah, that's right. In 6 months, this is coming out. So, it's good for you. It's a good practice to just do that, to keep your followers aware of what you're doing and what's next on your list to come out. Because you can also contact brick and mortar bookstores for lunch parties. If you've never thought of that, you can do that as well. I know Barnes and Noble, they do it quite a bit because they are one of the remaining brick and mortar stores that that have events like that. They actually post those on social media, and if you are on their email list, you'll get emails too about book launches and things of that nature, events that will be taking place at the store. And I've been a part of the Barnes and Noble events as well, and let me tell you, it is so much fun to do that. So you may want to look into that. And if your book is made available through Ingram Spark distribution, especially if you are a indie publisher or indie writer or indie author, when you self-publish your book, you want to make sure that you get it on Ingram Spark distribution, because paperback books are the ones that the brick and mortar stores will order in and sell, and then of course you get the royalties from that as well. And also, Barnes and Nobles has simplified this process by merely publishing through them, and it works a lot like the Amazon KDP program. If you're familiar with that, they give you the whole little kit of what you need, the electronic kit of what you need to get that book, to put your book together, because you've already written the manuscript. So it's a step-by-step process that takes you from the cover, the exterior to the interior, all of that. It covers all of those steps, and when you're finished, boom, you have a book that looks as though it's been created through a traditional publisher, through a team working with traditional publishers. But it's just that simple. So I love that they've done that, and self-publishing has come a long way throughout the years. It used to be when you said you were self-published, people would like back away from you like you had the plague or something, because it was just unheard of. It was like, self-published, what is that? And then too, you had the self-publishers out there that were really vanity publishers. If your book was crap, they would charge you this astronomical amount of money to go ahead and put it together for you. And then, your book may or may not, if you didn't have people that would buy these books from you, because what they would do is you would pay this money up front for your book to be published. Then they would send you the books, and then you would have to sell those books on your own. But see, it doesn't work like that anymore. If you go through Barnes & Noble, if you go through Ingram Spark, or if you go through KDP program, the books are print on demand. And what that means is that once you order the book, if you order a paperback or a hard copy, then those books are put together at that time, and then they're shipped to you. So that way you don't have a book sitting in a warehouse somewhere waiting for, distribution. With the print on demand, they can print the book however many copies you want. They can print those books, and then they can mail them out, to those people who have ordered them. So self-publishing has come a long way. It has really come a long way. And, it doesn't get the bad rep that it used to. And what has happened is competition for the traditional publishing companies now, that, it gives you a little bit more say. You don't have to send your work in and wait for it to be rejected when you can just self-publish on your own. We have so many self-publishers that are bestsellers, and that to me is just the best thing ever. And, it lets those traditional publishers know that they don't have to sit around and wait for someone to say yay or nay, to give them a go on their work when they know that it's good. They put all that love and kindness into their work. And so now, instead of waiting for someone to publish it for them, they can do it themselves and become bestsellers. So there you go. That's like poking the eye in the traditional publishers. You can do it yourself and be just as successful. And the best part is you get to keep the royalties. You don't have to split them with anyone. So there you go. But anyway, however you publish, just make your prep work efficient, which will make your book release the best. All right, folks. So that's all I have for you today. And I hope that you have enjoyed the show. But before I let you go, I always want to give you ways to stay in contact with Spreaker, with me, and that is through Spreaker. The first URL is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian Moore. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can go out there and just type in my name, Author Vivian Moore, and I should come up. On Twitter, it is God's Property 46, and Instagram, it is God's Property 51. You can also go out there on my website, and that is at https://www.authorvivianemoore.com. And also, if you follow my blog, that is at https://vivianemoore.blogspot.com. And as promised, I went out there today and I listed all of the places, all the platforms where you can listen to Book Chat on these different podcast stations. And of course, the first one is Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Castbox, that's Castbox, Deezer, Deezer, Podcast Addict, and the very latest one, Podchaser. That's all one word. And you can type my name in there, Author Vivian E. Moore, or you can type in Author Vivian E. Moore Book Chat or Book Chat Author Vivian E. Moore, and it should bring up my my show. And I hope that you will continue to make Book Chat just great. And I thank you again so much for listening to the show, for downloading and listening, because that means the world to me. And before I let you go, I want to tell you that, of course, you already know this. Tomorrow is the first Sunday. It's Communion Sunday. So make sure you take family members, you take friends, neighbors, and by all means, take some kids with you and tell someone that you love them, because tomorrow is not promised. Today may be the only chance you get to say that. So I love you and hope you love me back. Until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.